Tensions are at an all-time high around the world, from the Dakota pipeline to protests in different parts of the world.
But later today, we have an exclusive interview with one of CSUN's newest senators.
Studio G starts right now. Welcome to Studio G. I'm Catherine Ho.
And I'm Rio Lockenlolly.
We start with some breaking news from Iowa. The communities of Des Moines and Urbandale are mourning the loss of officers who were gunned down this morning. The loss of Sergeant Anthony Biminio and Officer Justin Martin is rocking the community. According to Des Moines police, both officers appear to have been shot overnight while sitting in their police cruisers. Law enforcement have caught and named the shooting suspect, Scott Green, in the brazen ambush shooting.
In all appearances, it looks just like that these officers were ambushed. On the surface right now, just like I said, we're just a few hours into this. It doesn't look like there was any interaction between these officers and whoever the coward is that shot them while they sat in their cars. That's the best we got.
Police have since caught the shooting suspect in the neighboring Polk County. One emotional scene played out in a local neighborhood after a woman hugged an officer while giving him water.
I can't even imagine. This is the only thing I know how to help is to feed. And I want you guys to be hydrated and not be hungry. And I want you to go home to your families because I want my dad to come home to me. And I want my friends to come home to me. And I'm sorry. And I'm here for you all.
Law enforcement have since made the arrest and will be preparing ceremonies for both officers in Des Moines.
Tensions are rising over the controversial $3.7 billion Dakota Access Pipeline. I spoke with members of the Navajo tribe about why your Facebook friends are checking into the Standing Rock Reservation. Facebook is acting as a new weapon for protesters of the Dakota Access Pipeline. The viral Facebook post claims that the Morton County Sheriff's Department is using the Facebook check-in tool to track protesters and make arrests. Facebook shows over 600,000 people have checked in who aren't anywhere near the reservation as a way to stand in solidarity with the Standing Rock Sioux tribe.
Sad to say that's like all people think about it. They think it's just a Native issue, whereas like the check-in is just bringing it to note. It's a people issue. It's a world issue. And I think that as far as the check-ins, it's doing a really good job as bringing more people aware of the issue of how it's our water supply.
Journalist and member of the Navajo Nation, Jordan Bennett Begay, has gone to Standing Rock several times in recent months to film footage of protests.
This is very intimidating, like not only as a journalist, but as a Native woman. It's just so hard because I'm also watching out for my own safety too. And then that's what's hard for people to understand who are not Native.
Demonstrators and members of other Native tribes argue that the area's water supply and sacred burial grounds are at stake if the pipeline is built.
I think this is definitely like a huge case. I mean, this case could set precedent for, future pipelines going through. But, like whatever's decided right here will decide what's going on in the future.
Facebook is one of the major social media platforms granting access to Geophedia. An ACLU report shows Geophedia provides real-time surveillance of protesters to law enforcement. The Sheriff's Department tweeted Monday that the rumor is, quote, absolutely false. Reporting for Studio G, this is Rio Lockenlolly. President Barack Obama broke his silence on the pipeline Tuesday night to online news site Now This. President Obama says the U.S. government is examining ways to reroute the pipeline.
The deadline for early voting in Nevada is this Friday, November 4th. I caught up with actress Zoe Deutsch and talked to her about the importance of early voting. As the deadline to vote is approaching, many celebrities are doing what they can to promote the importance of voting. Actress Zoe Deutsch came to Nevada to volunteer for the Hillary Clinton campaign. She joined volunteers that were phone banking and expressed her views on the election. We're here with Zoe Deutsch
Catherine.
and Catherine
At the Nevada Phone Bank.
Thank you so much. Tell us what you're doing out here and why it's important for you to be out here.
Yeah, I came out from LA for a couple days here to Nevada just to go out and canvass and knock on some doors and make some calls and try to get people to vote early. Really encourage you guys to vote early. And you guys can vote early at Lead Library from November 2nd to November 4th. It's so vital. It's so important. And
Can you tell us why it's so important to vote early?
the more people that vote early, the better. I just really encourage, because some people forget, some things happen, and if it's last minute, if it's on the day, you can't vote November 9th. You can only vote up until November 8th, and so we just really strongly encourage it.
So I love how enthusiastic you are. Can you tell me why you support Hillary?
Sure. I support Hillary for so many reasons, but I think this election, to me at least, isn't about Democrats or Republicans. This is about how do we want our country's views to be represented, and it's such a stark difference between the two, between Trump and Clinton, and there isn't a topic that I agree with Trump on. And I respect Hillary's work ethic, her mind, her experience, her 30 years of experience as a politician, as a public servant, more than I could possibly express. I am in awe of her, truly in awe of her. So.
That's great. So could you talk a little bit about your experience of actually calling people and doing this whole phone banking thing?
Sure. I've found knocking on doors, people have been really friendly. Really, really friendly. On the phone, it's a little bit different. You don't have to look face to face. You don't have to look at anyone in the eyes. A lot of people want to come out and volunteer, and we need more volunteers. Like you. You?
Why do you think it's important for millennials to vote?
When I talk to my friends who are in their early 20s, they'll go, oh, this is so important to vote. This election is crazy. Ugh. And I go, yeah, I know. It is. It is really crazy. So are you going to vote? And they're like, no, I just hope they do the right thing. And I'm like, who do you think they are? Who do you think you are they? And as cliche as it is, I know you've heard it before. I know we've all heard it before, but your vote counts. You matter. You are they. I am they. Is that grammatically correct? No, but really, just get out there and vote, because your vote does count. It does matter. And if you don't vote, you are voting for Trump. Just the truth.
Well, Zoe, it was so nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Clark County voters will have the opportunity to vote early in the November election. If you are interested in voting early, you can actually vote today up until this Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
I can't believe you got an interview with her, but have you voted yet?
I actually haven't. I might go to the library later. Have you voted?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I actually have. I voted last week. Lines weren't too long, so
good.
It's good, yeah.
Is there anything you need to bring, like ID or anything?
It will tell you on your ballot if you do, but it's a good idea to bring your ballot so you're not standing there forever.
Cool.
More than 500,000 Nevadans have already cast their vote. Let's take a look at one first-time voter's experience here in Nevada.
Pearson Community Center, located on the intersection of Martin Luther King and Cary, is one of the many centers where early voting is being held. Arthur LaMarcus Banks, a former NBA player, decided to vote for the first time. Here is his story.
My name is Arthur LaMarcus Banks. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. Went to University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Spent 13 years professionally in the NBA. This is my first time voting because in the past I just didn't have the knowledge of getting out to vote, and I didn't think that my vote mattered. And of course, in this day and time, This is a very, very important election, and I feel that everyone vote, and everyone's voice needs to be heard and counted. I think my influence can be from kind of a popularity type situation, because I'm born and raised here, went to college, played in the NBA. So pretty much me, I just want to use my platform as far as the people in the community, letting them know how important it is to get out and vote and come together, because it is really, really an important election. You have to get out and vote. Right now this is a very, very crucial time. I've spent the last 31 years of my life sitting at home pretty much not getting out to vote, and I feel that you should get out, get off the couch, make it an outing, take your family, your mother, your brother, your sister, and come out and have fun, vote, and it's for your future. So if that makes any sense, like, it's for your future. I'm very, very excited, especially for the outcome, leading up to this point. It's been a long time coming, and for me, I'm excited, my family's excited, and I'm glad that I can pass the word and spread it.
Reporting for Studio G, this is Ana Hernandez.
Students can vote right here on campus at Lead Library. When we come back, we'll bring you weather updates and world news. Stay tuned.
More than Music Mondays. Rap, hip-hop, R&B too. I like to play like any new upcoming music, new albums, new mixtapes. I like to open up with maybe kind of like a hype song that gives people energy. Just play any type of good music and then give people like a rundown what's going on currently in hip-hop. Just good vibes, good music. A lot of radio stations don't keep up with playing good music. So that's really the goal. This is Jalen Young on More Than Music Mondays. Check me out on the Rebel HD2.
Sunday evening jazz. I mainly play a lot of contemporary jazz music from the 1960s up until about 2012, 2013. When I go on, just explain who it was, the name of the song, the name of the artist, maybe the name of the album, their career. I just hope that everybody enjoys it and appreciate it for the kind of music it is and how great it is. My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz on the rebelhd2.com.
I'm Kylie O'Rourke.
I'm Shervin Mushuri.
I'm Langston Carter.
Hi, I'm Holly. My name is Anna.
My name is Jameson Wilk.
Window on the Middle East.
Spinning Indie. Good News with Holly.
It's Jazz and a Touch of Soul.
It's Latin Nights with Anna.
The Rebel and Revolt Show.
And you can check it out on the rebelhd2.com.
Not only is abortion a hot topic here in the United States, but also in countries like Poland. Reporter LaMarcus has a story.
While the U.S. may have a fix on abortion laws, in Warsaw, Poland, and many smaller communities surrounding Warsaw, several 100,000 people protested to block tougher abortion laws that the government wanted to introduce. The protests of many men and women managed to put the law on hold. Women of Poland who are protesting believe that they are not being treated fairly.
We already won with the government when the government attempted to ban abortion in any case, except the severe risk to women's lives. But we see that the situation may repeat itself. This is why we are protesting. We need to be recognized as full citizens with our full.
But because of the protests, most women believe, though they are not being treated fairly, the government has to now, for the moment, block continuance of the new law.
But knowing Kaczynski, we know that this is not his final step, and he will think of something new in order to divide us.
Many women in Poland believe that change will not come easily. But as one woman protester said, "You mess with a woman, you're never going to win." Reporting for Studio G, I'm LaMarcus Miller.
As protests continue in Poland, let's go to Idania Ramirez for more world news.
Thank you, Rio. Now, today we start with South Africa, where thousands of protesters are flooding the streets of the South African city of Pretoria this morning, demanding the resignation of the president. The current president, Jacob Zuma, has been accused of using $20 million of the state budget to upgrade his home. Police have fired rubber bullets, grenades, and water cannons in an attempt to disperse protesters outside of Zuma's office. And now in Central America, former Salvadorian President Elias Antonio Saca has been charged with embezzlement, conspiracy, and money laundering. It has been proven that he has transferred around $245 million from public funds to private accounts during his time in office, where he governed from 2004 to 2009. Saca has now been transferred to the Isidro Menendez Judicial Center in the capital, where he is under security surveillance. And now let's go to South Korea, where scandals continue to erupt about South Korean President Park Geun-hye, as protesters have been calling Park to resign since last week's revelations about her spiritual advisor Choi Soon-sil possibly seeing secret government documents and influencing policy. While a warrant was issued today for Choi's arrest on charges of abuse of power and attempted fraud, President Geun-hye has exiled the prime minister in fear of threatening her administration and appointed 3 new senior officials to her cabinet. In Rome, the tradition of only allowing men to become priests becomes solidified as Pope Francis has announced that he will not let women become priests as long as he lives. Pope Francis solidifies his tradition as he states to follow the declaration of St. John Paul II, where he denies women ordination. The declaration has come as a surprise to many who consider Pope Francis to be the seeker of change to the conservative thrust of the Roman Catholic Church. And on a lighter note, Mexico is celebrating the millenary tradition of the Day of the Dead with an extra touch this year. Mexico City hosted its first ever Day of the Dead parade, which was inspired by the James Bond film Spectrum. The movie, seen by 97 countries and millions of people, portrayed a parade where thousands of people swarmed the streets, dressed as skeletons with flower crowns, floats honoring the dead, and music resonating through the streets. Expectations were raised for the city, and Mexico held up to it, creating a parade many say was a success. Now, this is all for your world news. Thank you. I'm Idania Ramirez, and now we go to James for weather. James, what you got for us?
Well, I'll tell you what we got for you. Clouds. That's the one word you need to know for today. First off, let's go and look at the temperatures. 77 degrees for our high and 60 for our low. We're getting out of those 50s, and we probably won't see them for the rest of the week. But don't you worry, because we got some things for you for the rest of the week. Let's go ahead and take a look out at Monterey, California, where the waves are rocking the coast. But what's really rocking us is the current temperatures and weather that we have for this week. For today, of course, we have that cloudy weather. But like I said, clouds for the rest of the week, all the way out through Saturday. And the one thing that you should be concerned about, no longer are we going to see those 50s. And there's one number that should shock you a little bit, and it's that 81 right there. Now, for Saturday, of course, you have the chance for it to cool down, but that's not for certain. But let's go ahead and look at the rest of the valley, all the way down from Centennial to Boulder City. Let's go ahead and look at the temperatures. First thing you should know about, out in Boulder City, we do have a wind advisory, and that is carrying on from now until tomorrow. So if you're at the lake, make sure that you keep in mind the wind that's going on out there. For the temperatures, it's pretty basic. Of course, we have our 66, seems to be the number that's floating around the valley. But let's see what's happening with our national weather. One thing you should know about is a snow front coming in from the northwest rather, all the way through to the rest of the country, but of course dispersing around the Rocky Mountains. The East Coast is getting a little bit of a colder temperature, but nothing that shocking. For the rest of the country, we of course are seeing very similar temperatures that we're seeing around here. Clouds and not much rain or snow coverage. But wind at Lake Mead, can you believe it? Do you guys go out to Lake Mead often?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Do you often go out there? Or is it kind of more like a friends and family in town kind of thing?
Friends and family.
Yeah, definitely friends and family.
What, you've been spoiled by the Pacific and the Atlantic? Is that what it is?
Hardly.
Definitely.
Yeah, oh gosh.
Take the sailboat out.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure you have one, Catherine.
So the weather is great. The wind, the sailboat.
Well, I thought it was getting colder, but I guess not. I was excited to start layering up.
Yeah, 81.
I don't know.
When fall's coming.
Well, yesterday in the morning it was like 55 degrees, so I had 2 jackets on.
Yeah, I hate this weather.
Coming up, we have an exclusive interview with CSUN Senator Christopher Royce. Stay tuned.
My name is Walter from Deep Thought.
My name is Bruce Gill. I'm the host of La Alternativa.
Perfect Music Radio with me, Lily.
My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz.
I am Rockin' Gemini.
This is Jalen Young on More Than Music Mondays.
And listen to us on the Rebel HD2.
As far as Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
The show's name is the Rebel and Revolt Show. Pretty good show about, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, and then we talk about, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk and I run the Rebel and Revolt Show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
You don't get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
And we're back with an interview. Sorry to Rio and Catherine there. I was a bit skittish. I just got blown from the winds from Lake Mead that we'll sing for the rest of the day. Christopher Royce is with us today. He is one of the newest senators. He was appointed senator for the Division of Health Sciences in June. Thank you for being with us, Christopher.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Now, first question I want to ask you here is, of course, you are head of the Division of Health Sciences. But it's how you got there that's interesting. My question is, what inspired you to go into CSUN?
Well, it was during the summer, it was after the summer is when I really kind of got the itch. I received an email saying that there's a lot of vacancies in the Senate, and so I kind of thought, well, back during the primary season for the Democratic Party and everything, I was really involved. I was a precinct captain for my precinct, and then I went on to the county convention and the state convention finally, and that really brought up my motivation to really affect change in the community, because you can protest all you want and you can do everything you want to do and you can change people's minds, but who's going to be there to change the rules and the policies,
and
right?
Speaking of who's going to be there, I know one important issue, of course, we have for CSUN is the amount of involvement in the school that we have for that. I was hoping you'd be able to speak a little bit on that aspect of things when it comes to CSUN.
Yeah, so just like in American politics, we do have this issue with voter apathy and voter disengagement, and really what I think it comes down to is just a lack of, not knowledge on behalf of the students, but a lack of them knowing what the appropriate channels they should go through to talk to their senators, or that some people don't even realize that CSUN exists, and we are an organization that has legal power and legal authority to make changes. I mean, for example, we had one of our fellow senators, Senator Naomi Lewis. She actually was able to pass legislation that allows us to put in more hydration stations on campus. We have the power to do these things, and we love hearing from students. The only issue is trying to get students to come to us. And so we do the best we can so far, but we're always working to improve, and we're always open to new suggestions.
And if I recall correctly, one of the things you were saying is that the current positions for the Health Science Board is you are one with 3 open vacancies for a total of 4.
Surprisingly, yes.
So then my question is, did you run unopposed?
Yes, I did run unopposed. I've been looking for other people to come to me, so if you want to come, then that would be fantastic.
Isn't that the dream in politics, is to run unopposed? Or was you say that it's a dream come true for you? Or?
You know, it was pretty easy because it helped a lot with classes and tests and everything. I would have loved to run opposed and love to talk about issues and see what I can do to make sure that people are having their voices heard. However, you know, if I run unopposed, it makes it easy, but it doesn't mean I'm going to work any less hard.
Do you feel like since you ran unopposed that you lost on a lot of mudslinging and opposition campaigns, that you missed on the key portion of politics?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's sad but true. One of the you know, key cornerstones of recent American politics is mudslinging and calling each other names and corrupt and saying that, you know, people are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and that somehow negates all the great things they've done. You know.
Sure. So let me ask you then, what would you say is the best thing that is about CSUN that students should know about, and what is the worst thing students should know about?
So the best thing about CSUN, I would say, is that we have the power to make change. We have the power to do things that you couldn't otherwise accomplish even through, you know, a protest or even going to talk to your dean. To some extent or another, we do have power to basically do anything we want when it comes to what the students want.
Well, I'm going to hold you to that. What is the worst aspect then of CSUN?
The worst aspect of CSUN, I would have to say, is really being disconnected from students to a certain extent. We really want to know what students want. We really want to hear their ideas. We really want to hear suggestions and what they think would work best, because in the end, we are representatives.
Okay, so then just to wrap it up, then my question would be, what would you say is your future look like? What does your future look like as a CSUN senator going out of college?
Well, coming out of college, I want to do physical therapy in the future, but politically speaking, I would love to be a part of the legislature or state senate. Anything I can do to make sure that people are represented and their voice is heard in an objective fashion, make sure that we have an evidence-based discussion. We're not talking about, you know, philosophy or morals or anything. We're talking about issues.
Well then, Mr. Christopher, I don't know if we'll see you running for local office someday, but if that day comes, we'll be sure to save this video right here.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Well, when we come back, we pay tribute to the dead by having a day just for them. Go ahead and stay with us right after this break.
My goal is to be an on-air personality, and that's what my career is. It feels really incredible because I've been wanting to do something like this for my whole entire life since I was little.
I mean, it's an opportunity to express myself, get my voice out in public, and get heard for things that I feel strongly about.
This station helped me out a lot, gave me a lot of information I didn't know about a radio station in general.
I mean, it was really easy to get a show here. I took the classes and did the shadowing. They give you a lot of freedom to do what you like, and I feel like there's a lot of support in places you can get answers to.
It's just an incredible experience because I could take what I learned here and I could turn it into something more.
Oh, the station's great. You make friends, you gain skills, you learn how to do all this stuff with audio. It's a fantastic thing.
I can grow with everyone and everybody supports me as well as I can support them.
I think it's great. I think it's a blessing to have this kind of equipment from the Green Spun family as well as the state of Nevada.
And it's really informative to see, how a radio show really works.
Now that I do it, I have friends, I have people that want to hang out, and I get to play music a lot.
It's very good too because we have all the top of the line equipment to work with and students here that can help you out, so it's a very, very good way to get involved in the radio.
Central and southern Mexico celebrated Day of the Dead. Yesterday, Studio G reporter Jocelyn Luna joined the Center for Social Justice on campus for their annual event. Check it out.
Tuesday evening.
The Dia de los Muertos event, it happens every year, every November 1st, and it is like a Mexican holiday, and it celebrates, it's kind of embracing death, but also mourning those who we have lost, but celebrating their life. So it's more of a joyous occasion, actually. And so we have it every year at the CSJ. There's arts and crafts. We make sugar skulls. We make papel picado. We also have, delicious Mexican food. And yeah, just a really nice gathering of of people from different cultures celebrating this one culture.
The event attracted UNLV students, staff, faculty, and community members and gave them the opportunity to express their creativity and come together to celebrate this beautiful cultural festivity. It even piqued the interest of artist Jess Alvarez.
So what brought me out was just kind of like wanting to see more so what like the community's doing, how it's being represented, and just kind of feeling more closer to home. And just seeing that these traditions, these practices are still being valued and still being done today. So in my art, what it really focuses on the Chicanos in the United States. And so what I'm really trying to show is how those traditional practices and values are kind of passed down from our parents and created within the Chicano community. So like practices like Dia de los Muertos, you practice it in Mexico, but you still see families in California, New Mexico, Arizona, even here in Vegas that still practice it. So in my art, I try to take those values and practices and even like other things that you would see in a household and represent it within paintings, within textiles, and other materials.
Reporting for Studio G, I'm Jocelyn Luna.
Make sure to stop by the Center for Social Justice for more cultural celebrations. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Rio Lockenlally. And I'm Catherine Ho. Follow us on social media, and if you're interested in getting more local news, be sure to pick up an issue of the Rebel Yell. See you tomorrow for another episode of Studio G. Happy birthday, James! Happy birthday, James!